Look at India's industrial output, and the map looks surprisingly empty. Manufacturing isn't spread evenly. It's clustered into intense, glowing pockets. These are India's 8 major industrial regions. From Mumbai-Pune to the Bengaluru-Chennai corridor, the vast majority of production happens right here. India has millions of acres of open land, yet factory owners continue to squeeze into these same overcrowded districts. This concentration exists because placing a factory is a high-stakes calculation. Every site is chosen based on a rigid set of rules, dictated by raw material weight, transport links, and historical trade routes. Physical geography acts as an invisible hand, forcing industries into these specific locations to minimize the massive logistics costs that would otherwise make their products too expensive to sell. The most inflexible rule of industrial location involves weight-losing raw materials. The iron and steel industry is the primary example. To make steel, you need massive quantities of iron ore and coal. As these materials are smelted, the impurities are burned away, meaning the finished steel weighs far less than the rocks used to create it. Because shipping raw rock is incredibly expensive, the factories are forced to move to the mines. This is why the giants of Indian steel, like Bhilai, Rourkela, and Bokaro, are all located on the Chota Nagpur Plateau. They sit directly on top of the coal and iron deposits they consume. Inside these plants, the intense heat of the smelting process reduces tons of heavy ore into a much lighter, transportable metal. This same logic governs the sugar industry. It's why production is concentrated in hubs across Maharashtra and Uttar Pradesh. Sugarcane is highly perishable. Once it's harvested, the stalks begin to dry out, and the sugar content drops within 24 hours. To capture the most value, the mills must be located in the center of the farms. For steel and sugar, geography is the ultimate boss. The location of the factory is a direct consequence of the Earth's geology and the biology of the crop. If you look at the coastal hubs like Mumbai or the Hooghly region, the math changes. There are no coal mines or iron deposits here. These industrial centers were built by historical colonial trade routes and port infrastructure. The opening of the Suez Canal in 1869 turned Mumbai into the primary gateway for European technology. Suddenly, it was easier to import modern textile machinery here than anywhere else in India. Port access combined with a naturally humid coastal climate, which is ideal for spinning yarn without the thread snapping, turned Mumbai into a global cotton capital. On the opposite coast, the Hooghly region in Kolkata followed the same logic. Factories were built directly on the riverbanks to use the water for processing jute and the ships for exporting the finished bags. These regions prove that while geology builds steel, history and infrastructure can create an industrial legacy from scratch. For nearly a century, these rules were set in stone. But in 1991, government policy fundamentally shifted the geographic requirements for Indian manufacturing. The new industrial policy introduced liberalization, privatization, and globalization. It dismantled the license raj. As foreign investment flowed in, new industries prioritized digital connectivity over their distance from a coal mine. This policy shift effectively unchained Indian manufacturing from the earth, allowing economic strategy to override simple geographic distance. The modern result of those 1991 reforms is visible in cities like Bengaluru, Chennai, and Gurugram, hubs for the software and petrochemical sectors. Software hubs ignore the old rules entirely. They don't need heavy raw materials or proximity to a river. They rely on electricity, internet infrastructure, and a concentrated pool of skilled workers. Today, India's 8 industrial regions are a combination of 3 different forces: the geological foundation in Chota Nagpur, the colonial history of the ports, and the globalized future of the IT parks. While the Earth's geology anchored the nation's first steel mills, these shifting policies have enabled India to expand its industrial footprint into any region with the right infrastructure and talent.